the Water Valley School District Monthly Board Meeting, sponsored by Bank First of Water Valley.
Started. I'll call the meeting to order. Would you please bow your head for a word of prayer? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to gather tonight. Please be with us as we move through this meeting. Help us keep our decisions centered on what is going to be best for students and our community as we make decisions. And let us go safely home from this place. In your name we pray. Amen. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 2 is the adoption of the agenda. Just folks a moment, we'll take a look through.
Only thing changed up, the claim doc added 2 claims, so
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate that. So there were 2 changes prior to, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as it stands? Joseph, were you taking that? No, thank you. Randy, I'm sorry. Rodney moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Jeremy second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Item 3 is the approval of minutes from our April 22nd, 2025 meeting. We'll take a moment to look through those. An amendment that I would make is in the move to executive session, the minutes note that Tanya both made the motion and seconded the motion. I believe that it was Tanya and then Jeremy.
okay. You can y'all approve,
With that amendment,
and then
thank you.
y'all have before y'all sign the next one.
That's
Copy and paste it, get you a copy.
Are there any, is there any other question about the minutes from April 22nd? Hearing none, there is, do I have a motion to approve the minutes with the amendment
I'll make a motion.
Jeremy makes that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any seconds? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. All right, item 4, 4.1 is our financial update.
Fund balance and district maintenance as of April 30th was $4,835,251.35. Cash on hand was $4,673,648.70. Not last week, week before last, I was at my annual conference, and we had some there from MDE, and they're saying early to mid June will be the earliest that we get an allocation for next year. So there's a bunch of Governor Reed says he's not calling them back to special session until they can have a handshake agreement on an appropriation bill, that he wasn't going to waste the taxpayers' money with them going down there and arguing back and forth, that they need to get together and do that. So they're saying that's going to be the earliest that we can meet, I'm expecting in June. But I'm going to go ahead and go plow through the budget, kind of base it on what we got this year, because the original allocation, I think we were getting like $20,000 more. We are getting an increase in, 0.5% increase in PERS, and I think it's got like $40 a month, something. We're going from $482 to $513 on our health insurance on our side. So that's 2 increases I know we'll get. And last year, with the increase of both of them, they gave us an allocation. They gave us all that money up front. They say they're going to lump that into the allocation this year versus having it as a separate line item. So, and with the federal programs and all that, who knows what's going to happen there. they were saying we're gonna get money, but how the money flows is what's possibly gonna change with the possibility of doing away with the U.S. Department of Education, the money, pretty much taking out that component of it, they'll give the money to the state will decide how. So we'll get the same money, but it'll be up to the state how we use it, so hopefully there won't be as many strings attached to the money, so we can use it for actually how we, like I say, to hire a teacher, or, you know, to reduce the class size versus having to spend $100,000 on professional development. Not saying that we don't need it, but I think the money could be used and make much bigger. Like I say, have a smaller class size or something like that. But we won't know that probably until August, September, something like that. I wouldn't surprise, even if by then, so.
Will the deadline for turning in and approving our budget sheet?
April 15th, and they said that is not gonna move. August 15th, which I said April, not August 15th. Which is just a projected budget, so it's not like that we can't amend it after the fact, so that doesn't necessarily mean we have to. Or financially, we don't have to worry about cutting anything, so, as far as positions, like, it'd be different if we were not wondering how much money we get and we were strapped, you know, a tight budget, where we may have to rip the teacher, we're not in a position to do that now. They have the ESSER money and all that allow us to have some comfort, so we don't have to make immediate decisions, but when we figure out, we can, you know, plan for the future, that if we're gonna have to rip somebody in the future, we can give them like, look, next year, we got a year to the, you know, principals, whatever, you need to really decide, you know, your evaluation, all that, so we can plan ahead. So with the financial flexibility we got now, we don't have to make a hard, you know, let somebody go at Christmas or something like that, which has happened in the past, so.
And
So-
then, will you remind me too, when is the deadline for us to make a decision about how many meals we'll request?
See, we don't, that's the thing that has been said, we don't request meals.
Okay.
We asked for an amount.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
In
the same
the Mississippi Code section, and it says that we will ask in dollar amount. I can pull, I don't know the code section on hand. I know, Michael Walton's here, you know, talking about your meals. We don't say I need 50 meals. And we say we need $2 million and ever how many meals the board levies to get to that. So they set the millage rate and everything else and all that. We say we want this amount of dollars and they levy that amount of meals to get us our dollars. We don't levy meals.
So technically, our meals should decrease.
Yes. So say we were at the 55 meal cap, we were. And that means we can't ask for anything else. We're at 55 meal cap. Well, reassess, and now a meal is generating more. Then they only have to assess 50 meals, so that would actually open up 5 more meals that we could.
If we ask for
Yeah,
this.
but we're not at that. Yeah, I know that, there were some questions, I can't remember how many said meals we were assessing. That was total meals. Debt service is complete and total opposite. You can ask above them. If you got the bonding authority, you could be levying 150 meals if you want to, if you had the levying authority. But as
You
far
said
as,
47,
Yeah.
we're at like 40.58.
yeah, as far as operations, that's what goes into district maintenance. That's the one that's capped at 55 meals.
Okay,
Debt service has nothing to do with the 55 meal cap.
thank you for clarifying, that's helpful.
Because I know there were some questions asked, but, I had actually Mr. Cresson, that was superintendent here previous, he called me and he's like, how is where he's levying 68 meals? I was like, debt service, and I explained that to him too, like 55 meal cap is only on operations.
Okay,
So if you've got the bonding authority, because I know a neighboring district, you know, they say like they pass a bond issue every year to build a school and everything else, and that, as long as you've got the borrowing capacity, you can go pay it back by levying mills, but as long as they do that, which goes before a vote, which our 3 mil note, not our 3 mil note, our, bond we passed 6.5,
yeah,
went before a vote, so the
Yeah.
taxpayer knows.
yes,
And then we levy 3 mills for debt service every year, and that's in there, and that goes above and beyond. And while we're on that, the QSAB bond is going off. We got one payment left on that, so we've got the ball rolling on that we'll be borrowing some more money that will be paid back through the 3 mil note of mills that we're already levying, so it's not gonna be,
we're adding anything.
yes.
Okay, That makes
We can
sense.
levy up to 3 mills, and I was telling Mr. Pickott today, like, districts that have, where a mill,
Mhm.
say, generates $1 million, you can levy 3 mills, and they get $3 million a year to, if they wanna do a big project, or they just wanna buy $3 million worth of buses, they can do it every year. They don't do it. Where in our situation, it's not like that. If we're gonna do 3 mills, it's not, won't even buy us a bus, if we levy 3 mills, so we've got to borrow money, and then we pay it back over a 10-year note, so it was $500,000 is what the QSAB was that were being paid back, so it should be at least 500, and maybe with a new assessed value, it could be even, 750,000 that we could borrow to.
Borrow up to.
And it's got to be used for building improvements or buses, it can't be used for anything other than that.
And we do need an air conditioning unit on the multi-purpose, which is
Yeah, it's gonna be close to
75,000.
75,000, a new bus
Yeah.
is gonna be 100,
Alright,
depending on how big,
but we definitely can use it then, for sure.
yeah.
And how, when then, thank you, this is really helpful, and when is the deadline for making the request for the amount from the?
They're getting the ball rolling on that. The young law group, so Addison Reeds is more of your, if you're in
Mhm.
Legal trouble.
or
Yeah.
legalized. Young law group works specific school, that's who we use to do our bond issue.
Okay,
They take care of all of that.
okay,
And, like I said, I reached out to them, I talked with them at my meeting, emailed their paralegal, and I've been in contact with her getting the ball moving on that, because we don't want those bills to go off, because even if they do go off, we can still go back to 3, but we don't want to.
mhm,
Your tax bill goes down, then we hit them with 3 more meals, and they're like, why is my tax going up? So if you keep it constant that way, you never wanna lose those meals, because, well, you're not losing those meals, it's just, you have to live them again, so. So we got that going, and we'll have a proposal and all that kind of stuff, of how much money we can borrow and all that, so, that I'm doing, they asked me questions on that, and they'd like to ask how much money to keep us
mhm,
levying 3 mills, so.
yeah,
Because we've got, right now, out of our 3-month note, we're paying 2 things. We got a real 3-month note that's like 1.15 million. That's rolling off in 28. This QSAD that we got, like I said, that was back when President Obama was there, it was an interest-free loan. So how long ago so that must have been like 15 years that we've been paying on it, but it's been interest-free. Well, we pay the interest and we get the money refunded back to us from the the Internal Revenue Service. Department of Treasury refunds us the interest we pay.
mhm,
So we get that money back. And like I say, we got one more payment on it, which is in December. So I'll already have to levy the 3 mills to make this last payment. So we'll probably get the money in January, February, something like that,
got it.
possible. So that's something that we're gonna go, and then like I say, and then in 2028, we'll have to do the same thing if I'm still here or the next person or whatever. Because I'm really close to retiring, so.
Don't speak the words. Thank you.
But like I said, that's coming, so y'all won't be caught off guard, but like I said, I know there were some questions, Tanya had asked me about how many meals we have, and I explained to her, why, the 55 meals, what it was and all that kind of stuff, so. And like I say, because she asked how many meals we have, and I'm like, we don't levy meals, we ask for dollars, and how many meals it takes to get us that many dollars is what we do. And we haven't asked for an increase in 4 or 5 years, as far as I perceive. We can ask up to 7 without a vote.
Okay, but we wouldn't be asking for the mills, we'd be asking for the money.
Yes,
Okay.
there's a little tax worksheet where we've got a base amount, and like I said, our base is 2%.
I got
I mean, $2 million is where we come down to our base,
Mhm.
and then we can ask for 7%, so, we can ask for $144,000, which, be a couple meals if we wanted to do the 7%.
And when would we need to decide about that?
Well, right now, the reason we could do it, but right now, we're such financially, it'd be, to me, you never want to get to your 55 mil cap. That
Right.
way, when you request it when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's just the general philosophy is,
Yeah, I appreciate the philosophy. I'm just curious about the techniques, like if we.
No, you
did
did
make a
that when
decision
we approve the budget.
in the budget process. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
And like I said, then when y'all approve the tax resolution, it'll go to I'll write it in the paper and all that.
Yeah.
And y'all approve the tax resolution, I take it to the chancellor clerk. They do that for us. So,
Are there any other questions about the financials? Thanks, Randy. Let's move forward to item 4.2, the claims docket.
Only like, I ain't gonna say odd, I don't even know, speaking of 310, we make a 310 payment. And it's to, I think it's Trustmark.
Yeah, so.
Trustmark Banks towards the end. And that 43 is split out. The EF building bus money, we get that. That was when they did the sales tax increase from 6 to 7 years ago. And we pledged that money on our debt service, it makes it we can borrow more. And it also makes it, since it's pledged, if they're gonna cut, that's one of the things they normally cut, but since it's pledged, they can't cut our amount.
Okay.
The last two, one's repairs some air conditioning ovens, Rollins Summerall Ed Group, that is for, they help us with our E-rate stuff to get,
That's right, we hired them a couple years ago.
yeah, we've had them for a while.
Are there any questions about the claim docket? Is there a motion on the table to approve claims for repair and adjust in the amount of $299,475.78?
So moved.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Randy. Okay, item 4.3 is the FY26 depository bid. And we'll open two bids, one from Bank First, one's from F&B Oxford. Everybody ready? Do we need a drum roll?
Do it. Well, I would have made a deposit, and I saw what some folks were talking about, I want at least 12-15% of our money this year, but I don't know if he- I don't know if he's gonna go for that or not.
Sure you got as close as he could.
But He said something to that effect.
We got a pretty good rate.
We got a good one last.
Yeah.
Do I need to open both of them before we discuss, or just one at a time?
You know,
4%, 4.24. On the second page, I think. There it is, that one.
yeah, 4.06.
Oh, 06, sorry, I misread. Okay, so the bank first bid,
It's 4.06%.
First, 4.06.
4.06 is Bank First.
and then for F&B Oxford, I was looking at 4.66%. Just to check me.
Yep. 4.66.
Back again.
Huh?
Almost a percentage, though.
It was closer last year, but we are losing 1% on our money, but still, that's better than, it hasn't been that long ago. We got 0.25, and there were some schools that were having to pay a fee for someone to hold their money. When we got 0.25, and I was gonna reject it, or suggest the board reject it, and I talked to Young Longer and said, if you got anything, if they give you interest, take it.
Take it.
Like I say, we went from 0.25 and then to like 4.25, and then last year was 5.66, and this year 4.66, it's still very good, so.
And we don't need to take action on this because we just simply
No,
go
we
with the
do.
highest. We
No.
do have to, okay.
Y'all have to accept the bid of FMB option.
All right. Is there a motion on the table to accept the bid of 4.66% from F&B Oxford?
I'll make the motion.
There are motions, is there a second?
Second.
Rodney seconds, is there any discussion further? Hearing none, let's vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Alright, moving on to item 4.4, lost my page, 6? 4.4, sorry. The Water Valley non-certified staff salary schedule.
The only one of those that changed was the transportation one. We were bad lacking in surrounding areas of what we were paying our bus drivers. So we got that up to where we're competitive.
So grade 1 last year was 3303.
Mm-hmm.
Grade 2 was 6605. Grade 3 was 7275. So you can kind of see the increase
And-
there.
Are the increments the same
Yes.
ratio? Okay.
Yes. But we got it, or, like I say, a lot of people, you can't live off of that, but, somebody has a self-employed or something like that, they can do it for insurance and all that kind of stuff, just make it, but it was kind of embarrassing.
It's getting tough.
What we were paying them, especially when other districts, even smaller than us, were paying around what we're moving up to. So that gets us in line with everybody around us. As
So
far-
we are in line with,
If y'all approve the increase this year, that'll get us in line with everybody around us.
yeah. There's been a lot of talk on that for those other districts, I guess other bus drivers been talking to
Yeah.
them and
Well,
Like, yeah, they talk.
coming back. And
Yeah.
I was surprised with what some of the smaller districts paying.
Yeah.
Could not believe it. but-
yeah, well, they're having to get them. That's the whole thing, because it's not as easy just going past tests. There's a lot that goes into it, and they're making it harder and harder to get. Once you get your license, it's not that bad, but the initial step to get
Oh,
your
yeah,
license
for sure.
is expensive, and
You got to take like 4 different tests.
yes, so
It's not just a regular
making
CDL.
it, this right here is gonna make it, like I say, we're right in line with everybody else, if y'all approve that one.
Yeah.
And the other one, all I did was change the date of time. And like I said, all of those, the rest of them, we're in line with everybody else.
I have one question
Okay.
about the teaching assistant,
Yeah.
assistant teacher. So in the grade 2, the SPED, it doesn't move up after
No,
year
they-
5?
That's just how she had it written in her plan, they top out. We're paying them above and beyond, like I say, we could actually pay them the minimum state. And there are districts around here that don't matter if they've worked here for 1 year or they've been there for 30, whatever the state says to pay them, that's all they pay. It's more of, because that's paid out of IDEA,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more of a budgetary reason for them doing that, and they're making above and beyond what a normal assistant would make anyway.
Does it impact our
No.
ability to?
No, they want, like I say, when one of those comes open, one of our normal regular head assistants usually steps in it.
Okay.
They want to go up because, they get
Yeah.
a pretty good increase, so.
Yeah.
And the other ones they're in a teaching setting, whether, they've got a classroom of kids by themselves while they're doing a activity, whether it be a reading lab, a math lab, or art.
Yep.
And so they have more responsibilities, that's the reason we pay them
Yep.
for. The rest of them are gonna be in there with a teacher, being.
Truly an assistant.
Truly an assistant, assisting the teacher, but that's the reason why,
Thank
for
you.
the idea, because we'd always
I don't remember
pay.
that noise.
We'd always pay all the assistants the same, and then back when Butch Steve was here, he wanted to, we had, some children that had diapers, and they were having to glove up and change, and they went, for a regular ed, so he moved it up and
Yeah.
just, but when, whatever percentage raise, like the state gives the assistant teachers a raise, we give those a raise too, to follow on that, but just,
Appreciate that.
but that's the reason, but everything else is, well, everything will stay the same. Like I said, we're in line with everybody around us, so. Except maybe Oscar, but we can't get in line with them, so. They've got a meal for them, or a mill for us generates $950,000, a mill for them generates $850,000, so they got a little bit of advantage
It's a
over us.
difference, yeah.
Just a slight.
Right, like even in Caddo County there, a mill for them generates $100,000,
Yeah, yeah.
so. Get us a bunch of industry, a little bit there, but.
Tell any other questions?
We're gonna do all the salary schedules at once.
Yes.
I had a question on one thing.
Alright.
Maintenance.
Yeah,
This sheet for not listed salary schedule says maintenance 35,000. Is that different than the maintenance janitor?
that's the maintenance guy, he's the one that changes ballast and all that. That one is for your janitorial.
Okay, I got you. So they're,
Custodian,
they're
yes, they have
compared.
a lot of different responsibilities. I think it's a certified electrician and everything else that he goes in and watch that lady like this. He's a true maintenance person, where the other is more custodial.
I got you.
Anybody else? All right, is there a motion on the table to accept the non-certified, FY '26 non-certified salary schedules?
So moved.
There's a motion, is there a second?
One second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Randy, so much.
Appreciate it.
Got all of it?
Good.
Thank you.
Have a good night, thank you. All right. We will move into item section 5, discussion and action. First item is item 5.1, public comment. Seeing that there are none, we'll move on to item 5.2, the Davidson Elementary School update.
Revenue benchmark data, just attendance data, and things like that, they're on page 2. You can see we're in line where we were, we have been all year. Discipline referrals are down across both campuses, and we'll have one more June update for some reason, which, we don't have any kids, but we'll have an update in June.
Are there any questions, any further discussion?
I wasn't here the last meeting, but are we are happy about the third benchmarks?
Well, we're about 10 points higher at the, I think I said that, 10 points is what I said, at the elementary, and about 25 points higher at the high school. So we're in better shape, 35 points higher at the elementary, 25 points higher. 25 points higher at the elementary, 35 points higher than the high school. So we're in better shape than we were last year. Of course, we want to be better. And that's the goal, is to get better, but we're sitting about the same, a little bit better than we were same time last year.
And we're talking about the overall point structure for the grading. Any other questions or discussion? And then let's move to item 5.3, the Water Valley High School update.
Same thing, second page, actually third page is the overall of the high school and the junior high together. We had 9 referrals last month and 0 this month so far.
Well, it's
so
sad.
It went
It
down.
must-
It went down.
I see.
Now, you see the student ADA is down when you get this time of year. If the seniors know that they've got it in the bag, you're like,
Yeah.
why show up, So,
And is that where we're seeing that decline?
yeah, it'll be your juniors and seniors, your kids that are 17 years of age and older, because they're not on compulsory attendance anymore.
Mhm.
And there's nothing the state can do to them
Mhm.
if they miss, so. But that's not atypical, that we see that every year this time of year.
Any questions about the Water Valley High School update? Further discussion? All right, hearing none, let's move forward. Item 5.4, HOSA scholarship.
This is just a health science scholarship that Ms. Hamilton gives every year to kids that are going into the medical field. She's just asking for y'all to approve that, because we need to cut a check for it.
And where does the funding come from? Is it, we're a pass-through?
She has a HUSA account
Got it.
with us.
Mhm.
It's a club fund.
Got
And
it.
so we have to just, the organization allows them to do that. We just have to have approval to cut a check.
Excellent. These look like well-deserved, deserving
They are.
students. Is there a motion to approve the HOSA, sorry, let me make sure I have it right. Yeah, the HOSA scholarship.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
And a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5.5, an out-of-state field trip request.
This is the cheerleaders' request to go to cheer camp in Hot Springs, Arkansas. They went last year, and I think they had a pretty good time. So for any out-of-state travel, what'd you say?
I was there.
Just had a great time.
Are you chaperoning again? But they're asking to do it again, and they, were well behaved last year, I think. So.
Such a good experience for students. Is there a motion to approve the request for an out-of-state field trip for cheerleaders?
So,
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
hey, let me ask one question. It was about the claims docket. I saw where the chair had $5,000 for client tours. Was that for this? Are they pre-book or? That might be a Randy question.
Yeah, that, I know that I think we pre-booked it for this upcoming
For
trip.
this
the
trip.
distance. Yeah, I don't remember us going anywhere.
I had
This year,
I
using-
couldn't think of anyone.
I think that's gonna be for this.
Okay.
Good question, thank you. All right, let's move to item 5.6, Y-Care agreement.
The Y-Care program is through the YMCA, and it's an after-school program that will run from 3 to 6 at the elementary school every day, and it's for pre-K through 6th grade, and I think it costs $48 for a week from 3 to 6, and they provide tutoring, after-school services. We can get reimbursed if we feed them a snack through our food service program, and it's just a really good program. It's something that I think is going to be beneficial for us as far as student outcomes, and then definitely for parents that are able to have their kids there till 6 o'clock every day. And we also have a lot of community members already that are on board offering scholarships. I gotta check the date that I'll ask you to approve next time from Tommy Reynolds. And so, and my thoughts on that is we want to possibly, we want to give the scholarships to students that are most financially in need of it, but we also want to use some of that money to target our tier 3 kids for after school interventions. And I think that is really going to help out. We have to approve it. They handle everything. They had the staff and all that. It's just using our facilities.
What about transportation?
We don't do transportation. They would have to agree to pick their kids up, and that's something that we kind of have been bouncing around.
Yeah, I'd like to talk more about that,
Yeah.
to think about how we might make that program most accessible to kids who really.
And that was my thing too, is, we're going to be missing out on a lot of kids because their parents can't get them
100%.
to and from. So that's maybe something that when Randy and I sit down here in the next couple of weeks, that I'm going to ask, maybe request for some additional funding to help get kids to and from this program.
Yeah.
They're already big at school,
Right.
Do they have to sign up for this program?
Yes.
The parents will have to actually
And the parents
enroll
pay,
them?
the parents pay the $48 a week.
Right.
And the teachers would be,
So
it won't be,
they won't be, it could be. So it's a good program. It's a good thing for some of our teachers who are working second jobs. They could also work for the YMCA after school tutoring, and make our assistants, our teachers can make some additional income doing this.
Have we done this before? Nope.
This is brand new.
But it's many towns Bush, is that right?
Lafayette does it.
Lafayette does it,
I'm
and-
sure doing something like that. I'm not not sure. if
But
White is
Monique Bush is,
Yes.
Monique Bush does it. She's got a first grader, Landon, I think,
Mhm.
here. She's from here, so,
Yeah.
and she's really good.
Her
She's-
father was pastor of towns, of course, so knows a lot of people.
Right.
And this is pre-K through,
Pre-K through 6.
that's good.
It's
So
great.
Ashley, get the twins in there.
No doubt, man.
$8 a day,
Well, you can't beat
something
it.
like that. I think it's $8 a day. I said 48, but I think it's $8 a day.
That's great. Any other questions about the Y Care program? Okay, so is there a motion to approve the Y Care? Is it approve the contract?
Yeah, we said, y'all just need to approve it.
Okay.
I'll be the one that signs it.
Great. Is there a motion to approve the Y Care contract?
So move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Is there any further discussion? My only note is that we come back to the transportation.
Absolutely.
Hearing no further discussion, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
When I mentioned the possibility of us just even exploring transportation, they were very excited about that because they don't have any other districts that.
Yeah,
But that's something else I really want to look at.
great. Thank you. Very exciting. All right, let's move on to item 5.7, Three Rivers MOU.
This is just a memorandum of understanding for our career coach position. Just to be accepted that, you just need to approve the memorandum of understanding, and we do plan on bringing a career coach back next year. And improve on it. Vicki and I talked about it,
Great.
ways to improve, had some conversations that we need to have. Not necessarily kind of an improvement plan type situation, so we're going to really take advantage of this opportunity that we have, this position next year.
Excellent. And this, correct me if I'm wrong, Three Rivers pays for this.
Yes.
We just accept the
The coach.
position of the
Right.
coach. Okay, great. Is there any other question or discussion about the Three Rivers Accelerate Career Coach program? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the Three Rivers MOU, memorandum of understanding?
So moved.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. All right, exciting stuff. Let's move on to item number 6, the board members report. I will report that I talked to Dr. Jackson. She threw out a couple of dates that would work for her by the end of May that did not work for the majority of the board members. So I think we need to move our request for her service into June, which is tricky because I know people are in and out of town, and I want to make sure that we do get to it before the end of June so that we get our credit, our CEU credits. And Rodney, come if you want to get one of yours through that avenue as well. But I just wanted to check with you all and see if there were dates that were definitely off the calendar for June, so that I can go back to her and say, I think she said a little later in June would work much better for her. So,
I sent you mine.
yeah.
The 2nd through the 7th, I'll be out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be gone too.
Great. I was kind of thinking maybe the 3rd week of June, since we already have a board meeting scheduled that week, we could tack on, make sure people are in town, that kind of thing. Does that feel okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone the 22nd, but you know, I hadn't made it no way, so I'll be gone the whole week.
Okay.
The 22nd.
Or the 22nd?
Yeah, and I think that is the 3rd week.
It seems right. Let me look at the week before as well and see what we can do there. I'll float any dates that she has open with you all first, and then we'll get that scheduled before then. And that should be, Tanya asked last time, how do we make sure we get our credits? And she said, all we have to do is sign the attendance document. She forgot to bring it last time, but she'll bring one for last time and this time. We just sign our names, and then they'll send us a certificate of completion, and that will satisfy that requirement. And they'll bill us at the end, and so we'll pay the same and get that service. I also did not schedule a budget working session because the legislature has not yet passed a budget, so I was waiting to see what Brandy maybe wanted to do about that, given the back and forth. But I might look into June as well for that, since there's no school, so it might be a little more flexible. So be on the lookout for a couple of scheduling messages from me, and I apologize in advance. I know those are not very fun, but I appreciate you working with them. And that would just be a working meeting, so not a formal board meeting, open to the public. Anything else?
Yeah, I attended the band banquet. Yeah, it was really nice. First time ever going to a band banquet. I just want to say our band director, he's doing an awesome job.
Yes.
Really a
Yay.
lot of energy. And band, you know, they have really improved. You know, he's doing well. I think he had a really nice banquet. You know, I'm impressed with the attendance, and he got so many more kids participating. I think it says sixth grade, fifth grade. I don't know. It's impressive, and I'm hoping to get back up to the 100 band members they had when I was in school. But they working toward it. They're doing a great job. I just want to say that was awesome. Yeah, Superior Ray had all 8 trophies and awards there. It was amazing the job that he's doing.
That is great to hear. Thank you for going and representing the board. Anything else? Right, hearing none, we'll move on to item 7, the superintendent's report.
Just a couple things, you know, we're nearing the end of school, thank goodness, but our track team, we went down to Jackson, Washington, Murphy last week. Anthony Butler's the gold in the high jump, and then Donovan Wilson got second in the shot put.
It's good.
But what really impressed me is our eighth grade track girls came in second in the 4x100, and they're 8th graders.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was standing right there at the finish line, and I thought we beat the 100.
I did too. I seen the video. It looked
I mean,
like
I
school.
did,
It
and
was right there.
and they're running against seniors, so these are girls that are in 8th grade. So I'm thinking we have a team, at least a team. Lady Blue Devils state championship in the future. So very impressive. 5 tomorrow. We had our senior awards last Thursday. Went well, and I had our 7 through 11 awards. But tomorrow we have our 6th grade program at the elementary school at 8 o'clock. And they're this year actually going to do a little walkthrough like the seniors do.
8 or 8:30?
8:30. I said 8 o'clock. Because I have to be there. And I was told 8:30. It's 8 o'clock for the walkthrough. They're going to do a walkthrough like our seniors do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you've never done that, you should definitely do it. It's amazing.
And our pre-K graduation's on the 21st, and then on the 22nd we have 1st through 5th grade awards.
For the pre-K and kindergarten graduation, the board is not required or requested to be graduated.
Yeah, I mean, you're always invited, but you know, it's we get up there and just kind of run through them, take pictures, you know, and they're pretty quick. But yeah, graduation's 7 o'clock Friday night.
What time would you like us to be there?
We'll have the gates open, so we'll save off some spots. If y'all want to get there about 6:30, I don't think that'll be a problem. I'll have somebody waiting to let y'all down in there.
And we will meet at the
Field
house again. Okay. Do y'all want to try to take a
Picture.
picture? Yeah.
Everybody be dressed up and run
I
well.
mean, Tanya won't be there, is the only thing.
Alright.
So,
With modern technology, I think we could probably hear
we'll
it.
just set it over. It's great. Excellent. Okay, so 6:30 Friday at the field house. We'll be there. Thank you. Anything else? All right, then we are going to move to item 8, which is executive session. And we need a motion and a second to be able to consider executive session.
I'll make the motion to consider executive session.
All right. Technically, you're only supposed to leave, but we're going to consider student transfers and recommendations. Is there a motion and a second to remain in executive session?
Make the motion.
And I'll second.
And we'll need a vote. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll be in executive session. Thank you.
As a hometown bank, BankFirst is proud to offer top-notch banking products with perks that support local businesses and people who support their communities. We believe our towns, no matter the size, deserve the best products and the best customer service, an experience we all deserve. We're hometown banking at its best. Do you bank with us? You should.
The Water Valley School District Monthly Board Meeting, sponsored by Bank First of Water Valley.